Another problem that women are facing nowadays are usually in their breast. They would have multiple cysts, multiple nodules, breast pain. And I want to tackle about GMO, genetically modified, because some of the genetically modified foods that we are eating can actually cause problems in the breast. So your genetically modified foods or organisms, these are foods that have been modified genetically to suit a certain purpose. For example, there's a tomato here in the US, so it's called flavor saver. So this tomato, because during winter they would usually freeze, so the scientists, they wanted to make a tomato that will not freeze during winter. So what they did is that they took a gene, a genetic protein from the fishes of the Antarctic Ocean, and they were able to extract that, and they injected this on tomatoes. And true enough, the tomatoes did not freeze, but their outer lining, their covering, their skin, was so fragile, it looks like it's a tomato paste. So they lost a lot of money on that. Now the GMO, the problem with GMO is that because these are man-made, they're not God-made. What happens is when we eat them, so we form some form of allergic reaction because we do not have the enzyme to process this GMO. And there are a lot of studies out there that prove that GMO can cause tons of problems. So there was this scientist who did an experiment, and they were feeding this rats with GMO. And then eventually they formed a lot of tumors, breast tumors, ovarian tumors, kidney tumor, and they call it Frankenrat because the rat just had a lot of tumors in the body. So this is just on an experiment on animals, and it's very concerning because if it can cause tumors in rats, it can cause I think it can cause tumors as well in humans. So you stay away from GMO. That's one of the most important thing that you can do. Again, if you have cyst in the breast, sometimes it can be because of caffeine toxicity. Now the caffeine toxicity, it can cause depletion of iodine. So if your iodine is depleted, then there's a probability that the potassium in your body would concentrate on your breast. And tons of potassium in the breast would lead to the formation of cyst. So try not to drink a lot of coffee for all those women who are complaining of breast tenderness or breast cyst. So, and then you have to eat a lot of seaweeds. That's the most important thing that you can do. So if you have breast cancer, breast cancer, that's different. Usually, the symptoms of breast cancer would be you have dimpling of your nipples, peau de orang, we call the skin around the breast. So it looks like an orange pit. So if you look at the skin of an orange, it has those small pits. So that would usually be manifested with the patient who have breast cancer. Another would be bleeding. So they can be bleeding, non-healing wound. And then there's a retraction of the nipple, like what I said. There's going to be a retraction of the nipple. And sometimes the entire breast would just be attached to the chest wall. So sometimes the affected breast would just shrink. You think that they become asymmetrical. So they would shrink, they would attach themselves. It's because of the ligaments So the cancer is trying to push the ligaments. And that's why you would have breasts that are asymmetrical. So what are you gonna do? The best thing that you can do is that, again, stay away from sweet foods and GMO. So stay away from GMO, sweet foods, and stay away from foods that are easily processed to sugar, such as rice, white pasta, white bread, so white cake. But if the cake is brown, don't eat it as well. So I'm just trying to tell you that they're very sugary, they're very sweet. So the cancer cells, they love sweet foods. They have 96 receptors for sugar. So the moment that you are eating tons of sugar, you're just actually feeding the cancer. And again, in a video that I made, I didn't want my patient, for me, in my experience, I didn't want them to eat a lot of, or to drink dairy foods, drink and eat dairy foods, because the milk, as we know, has a lot of hormones, antibiotics, vaccinations. So all of these harmful substances, if we drink them, we eat them, we consume them, so we are able to transfer them also inside our body. And excess hormones in the blood, especially if you have a tumor in the breast or in the reproductive organs, so this would aggravate your illnesses. So it's better not to drink or consume dairy products. The best thing that you can do for breast cancer, you can do, of course, Boston C 1 teaspoon 3 times a day, Megadose vitamin C 1 tablespoon once a day, Pixie Dust 1 teaspoon once a day. Now, if you're new to Boston C, Pixie Dust, and Megadose vitamin C, you try to drink it at smaller amount first. And then when you get comfortable, then you can increase it. Now, the problem with Boston C, Megadose vitamin C, and Pixie Dust is you will have diarrhea. So be careful with that as well. But that's perfectly normal. It's just your body getting rid of toxins. So don't be alarmed by it. Guyabano leaves, garlic, ginger, they're very good. And parsley, asparagus. So these plants, they have tons of healing properties. So they can help you heal your breast mass. So I hope that this video is able to help you, and that if you have any questions, please private message me as well.